Thank you. Thank you for joining. Welcome back and welcome to another Worthless Mutts. Your host is me, who, I call myself Gore the Dog Butcher. It's because I hate dogs and I want to see dogs eliminated off the face of the earth. And Gore is based on a character in Marvel Comics. You know, he killed a lot of gods. He was a god butcher. He killed gods. And I call myself Gore the Dog Butcher because I don't actually kill dogs. It's like I want to see them eliminated, and I'm willing to show dead dog carcasses, dogs getting shot, dogs getting hurt, because I am Gore the Dog Butcher. Why would I call myself that if I don't show these worthless mutts in in despair? And the same people that have a problem with it are the same ones that are always eating meat, the same ones that will hunt innocent animals, and they think nothing of it. They don't say anything about those animals, about the natural animals. But as soon as I want to make videos showing, having pictures of dead dogs, dogs getting shot, dogs getting hurt, all of a sudden that's a problem. When there are countless of videos of natural animals being hunted with dogs, countless of videos of natural animals being skinned while the dog sits on the side. But no one says anything about that. YouTube says nothing about that. Society says nothing about that. But as soon as you decide, or as soon as you want to hate dogs or show dogs in a hatred way, that's a problem. And that goes to show that this is a dog society where dogs get a free pass. All other natural animals, and including people, other objects, trees, plants, you don't matter. Dogs matter more. And even the dog nutter will say that dogs are better than people. The dog nut says dogs are better than people. The dog nut will say they treat dogs better than people. Dog nuts will say that they will feel sad when a dog doesn't greet them. But for all other natural animals, you're okay to be hunted with dogs, shot, abused, and that's okay. But dogs, they get a free pass. Just today, I watched the Deadpool movie. And as you can see, this hideous dog was in the film. And like always, the viewers and the actors and characters, they ignore how deformed and ugly and mutated this worthless mud is. They worship it and treat it as if it's beautiful, when in reality it's not. It's an ugly dog, and these ugly dogs actually win ugly dog contests. Life with the ugliest dog, who now stars in Deadpool and Wolverine. Even the BBC News are calling these things the ugliest dog. These are the same dogs that partake in the ugly dog contests. And in this movie, they want to call these dogs beautiful. It's probably a joke, because again, Deadpool is like a joke movie. Maybe it's a joke. They're being sarcastic. But these things are hideous, nevertheless. Even if it wasn't this dog, the dog wouldn't be hideous because all dogs are just hideously ugly. Ugly, creepy, freaky looking. Luckily, this movie did not. Not this movie. The dog. The dog did not have a lot of screen time, which was good. So I didn't have to sit through the whole movie looking away or looking at this dog and just feeling sick. The dog might have had maybe 7 minutes of screen time. Dog just kept coming back. There was a scene where a group of Deadpools are shooting at. Okay, spoiler alert. Where a group of Deadpools are shooting at the human Deadpools. Then Wolverine is carrying this ugly dog. Let's see if they have a screenshot of it. Wolverine with dog. They don't have it here. But nevertheless, there's a scene where Wolverine is carrying the dog across the shootout area, and all the Deadpools stop shooting because of the dog. Yeah, it's a good little joke. You know, I get it. It's okay to shoot people, but don't shoot dogs. And I believe there was even like a child Deadpool in this, or there was technically two, but there's at least one child Deadpool in this. I think off screen the child was like got hurt. Again, I'm not again trying to be a snowflake and saying, oh, they shouldn't be doing such things. What I'm saying is that when it comes to dogs, even in the fictional world, they are given a pass. Even when they're hideously ugly, these dogmas are going to call them beautiful. When the humans are getting shot, they won't kill the dog. The dogs can attack people, but no one can hurt the dog in these movies. In John Wick is a perfect example of how the dog gets this free pass. The dog can attack whoever, whenever. And I don't even think maybe once a dog was hurt. I think it was because of the car, but not once did I can't remember fully, but I don't think there was a time where the human actually hurt the dog. I can't remember. There might have been. But it's so rare. And they say that John Wick only went on this rampage was because someone had killed the dog. Someone had killed the dog. This very dog that they in the movie. I'm talking about in the movie. But this was the same dog off screen, behind the scenes, that attacked a horse. Not sure they're going to show it. The same dog in John Wick that people were sad that got killed, in real life, attacked a horse. And they're not even showing that anymore. Well, you see it here in Reddit. John's chapter 2 dog interrupted filming fighting a horse. And that's all you got on Reddit. There used to be videos of it. There used to be screenshots of it, but it's not here anymore. Of that dog in John Wick attacking a horse. But in the movie, we have to feel bad about these dogs. Even though they're not actually dying in the movie, we have to still feel bad about them. But in real life, no one cares about the horse. No one cares about the victims that have been killed by these dogs. But in the movies, we have to care when a dog is shot, even though they're not really getting shot in these movies. Yeah, I don't know why they scrubbed it. There used to be videos of it There used to be videos of the John Wick's dog in an off-screen attacking a horse. Um, it's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. But I do remember it. The horse attacked the horse. The pit bull attacked the horse. But anyways, dogsbite.org. A lot of information here, stats, recent fortunate victims of dog attacks. And in a way, I can say I'm speaking for them. I'm speaking for those that have already passed years ago, speaking for those that have passed in the present, and speaking for those that may pass in the future. And there will be more victims. As long as these dogs exist, there are still going to be more victims. And the excuses we hear every day is blame the owner. Like, why should I blame the owner? What does that do if I'm blaming the owner? If I'm someone that hates dogs, hate pit bulls, what is blaming the owner going to do? Imagine coming here on video and talking about blaming the owners. Just blame the owner. Look for warning signs, blame the owner. What good does that do? And I've given the solutions that these things need to be gotten rid of. Banned, erased, eliminated. As long as they're in our society, they're going to be hurting and killing more people. And we don't hear about all the attacks. But we hear about a few of them, some of them. Yeah, so like, what is blaming the owner going to do? It does nothing. I think, demeaning and letting people know what these dogs are about does more than coming on here repeating blame the owner. Blame the owner? Like, but what about the dog, though? The dog is the one attacking, killing people. I'm not going to say you're just blame the owner. Obviously, I'm not saying the owner has like no responsibility whatsoever. But the full blame, most of the blame, I should say, is with the dog. The dog is the one that's dangerous. The dog is the one that is killing people, attacking people, whether it's trained or not trained. I do not know what's happening behind closed doors. I don't know if these owners are good or bad. So would it make sense for me to say blame the owner when I have no idea what's going on behind closed doors, what they do? And I'm pretty sure a lot of these dogs that have attacked were because of owners that were good, that didn't teach them to attack. And guess what? These dogs still end up attacking and killing children, adults, seniors, and even other dogs, other animals. These dogs, keep blaming owners, but more attacks keep happening. And I always say, and obviously it's always usually with pit bulls. So if pit bulls are always attacking and we're always blaming the owner, then that means pit bull owners, statistically speaking, are horrible dog owners. But then why isn't there any extra precaution or, I don't know, qualifications to owning these things? It's just people get them everywhere, everywhere, elsewhere. Anyone could have these things, from seniors to dim-witted young 20-year-olds. There's a post on Facebook of like a frail, fragile, maybe 86-year-old adopting a pit bull. They will give these things out to anyone. And if it was up to me, let's just say I wasn't as vile towards these dogs as I am. I would say you have to be at least in the age range of at least maybe 28 to like 50 to maybe 60 to own these things. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And we've seen grown men, grown women, big men, still get manhandled by their dogs, still get attacked by their dogs. When the dog is attacking, they cannot stop it. They need other people that have nothing to do with their dogs to stop the dog from attacking. We've seen countless videos of this. They're in the park or wherever, and another guy from across the street, from another house, has to come out, stop what they're doing, to stop an attack. So if these owners were so good and so useful and supervision and they have the leash, why in these videos that we see we have bystanders from across the street, from who knows where, coming over to de-escalate the situation? Why can't the owner just stop the situation dead in there? Because not everyone is fit to having these things. And even if you are fit for having these things, they will still attack. And guess what? You're going to get called a bad owner as well. So it is just best if no one owns these things. I mean, it is really best if no one owns pit bulls. No one owns dogs, period. But in another perspective, for bully breeds, I think there should be an age requirement, a weight requirement. Can't be weighing more than 300 pounds, or let's say 280. Can't be under, let's say, 170 or 190. Because these even the weight doesn't even matter, but at least it's something. At least it's something, rather than just saying, "Hey, you look like a frail old lady. Here, take this pit bull. You look like a dim-witted dog nutter. Hey, take this pit bull. Hey, this pit bull is not a pit bull, it's a golden retriever. Hey, take this pit bull." That's what happens in this dog culture. You just keep giving away these dogs to anyone. And when attacks happen, the owner gets all of the blame instead of these shelters and instead of these dogs. The main topic that I want to discuss in this video is lying making dog lovers. Is lying making dog lovers and pitnutters sick? And I say yes. I think the lying and the excuses in dog culture, whether it be for pit bulls or just any other dog, the lies, the excuses have been making dog lovers sick, which might explain why a lot of them are psychopaths. They're dumb, they're stupid, they're deranged. They're willing enough to endanger their own children, their own lives. They're willing enough to endanger the community. They're willing enough to talk lies about dogs every day on the internet, in real life. And they live in denial regarding these dogs. They, will say dogs are man's best friend, but I'm not seeing it. But the dog, they have to lie. They have to be in this delusion. They gotta, read up on all the excuses of what to say. They gotta keep reinforcing themselves with these hideous memes, just to keep the lies going. And that's why I think a lot of dog nutters behave the way they do, Because they are sick. They are sick physically. They are sick emotionally, spiritually, sick, spiritually. They're sick mentally. They are sick. They are handicapped all over, and every other developmental phase or whatever. They are sick. And if they aren't sick, why do they lie so much? Why are they full of excuses? Why do they come on national television to blame the owner? Why do they deny that these dogs are just dangerous? Why do they deny the stats and the facts? 9 times out of 10 times, not even 9, I felt like 10 out of 10. You listen to the news regarding an attack, it is always a bully pit bull type dog. But they will come on and still say it's the owner, it's not the dog is friendly. All these lies that they will spew out. And that's what I believe is making them so sick in the head. I already did a video. I'm not sure if we're going to upload this one first or whatever. There are dog nutters that let their dogs crap in the house. Dog owners let dog crap. Let's say this way. Poop in house. I don't know, not exactly what I wanted, but I did read a post on Facebook where there are dog owners that will let their dogs defecate inside their home. Telling me these people aren't nasty? Telling me these people aren't disgusting? And they do a lot of nasty things with their dogs. I mean, just by having a dog is just nasty enough. But the things they do, groping the dog, putting their mouth on the dog, letting their dogs lick them, eating from the dog, letting the dog eat from them, letting the dogs lick the plates, lick the spoons, let the dog in the kitchen, on the table, on the chairs. They're going to touch the dog, then touch food. They're nasty. And I think that kind of goes back to them lying so much, which makes them sick, where they're just going to be doing anything with these dogs and they're not going to think anything of it. They're not going to think anything of anything when it comes to their dogs. They're just going to do. I feel that's why these dog nutters are just so sick. They're so psychopathic. And I know the general dog nutter is very different from the bully breed or the pit bull nut. Some of them are different. There can be the same. But a lot of dog nuts are against pit bulls. They know the facts about pit bulls. But a lot of pit nutters are just the worst. They're just the worst of the worst. There's no advantage I can give pit bull nutters. Actually, there's only one. The only advantage I could give pit bull nutters is the fact that their dogs will attack other dogs. So in a way, they are helping get rid of dogs. That's the only positive from them. But other than that, there's nothing. In these Facebook groups, etc., or Reddit groups, I can, interact with these dog nuts regarding pit bulls, and we're fine. But with these pit nutters, it's I can't do it. Because you're psychopaths. You're liars. You're full of excuses. You're dangerous. You're detrimental to society, to your city, to your neighborhood, to your home, even to yourself, even if that matters. And I don't even think them endangering themselves really doesn't matter. I think a lot of these pitnutters are on like the last, phase of their life where they have nothing else to live for. That's why they get these dogs in hopes that these dogs will maul them to death. That's one thing I think of. Maybe they hate their lives so much they'll get these things, but they're not willing enough to end it themselves. But they'll get these dogs in hopes that these dogs will maul them to death. Few things I'm going to read regarding this subject. The psychological impact of lies, how dishonesty affects your mentality. And the ways it affects your mentality is increased stress and anxiety, especially when it comes to this pit nutter lobby. A lot of them can be they can be very antsy in a way that can turn into, they take things way too personal. You're talking about pit bulls and how dangerous they are and they should be banned. They're gonna get very anxious. Instead of dealing with the matter of hand, they're going to take personal attacks at you. They're going to get stressed out. They're not going to know what to say. So they're going to go off topic and bring up other dog breeds, maybe. They're going to bring up how bad people are. Why can't they discuss the matter at hand of how vile pit bulls are? They can't because they have to lie. They got to create excuses. They get anxiety because of that, probably. They diminish trust and intimacy. A lot of places, people do not trust these dog nuts or pit bull nutters. And some of them will act like they don't care when other dog nuts, don't want their dogs around a pit bull. But I believe it hurts them somewhat. It hurts these dog nuts somewhat. And it's the lies. It's the excuses that they make. If they were just honest and they applied their honesty, like they know these pit bulls are dangerous, let's not go to the dog park. Let's muzzle the dog. Let's keep the dog away from children. Keep dogs away from people. They don't do that. They act like their dog is a child or like any other dog. And they will lie, create excuses. The dog is friendly, never been before, yada yada yada. But then we have other dog nuts and other people stepping away from this dog, and again, that hurts them. It damages their self-esteem. They have to lie about these dogs, and it's funny. I don't know if it's the right word to say funny, but when you're talking when I'm talking about dogs and taking shots at dogs and saying the facts at dogs, a lot of dog owners take it personally, like as if I'm talking to them or about them. If I say a dog is dangerous, for example, a lot of dog owners will come and make personal insults as if I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to them, I'm talking about dogs. So it's like you're taking shots at these dogs. It affects their self-esteem. Like, how is that? Does that make sense? Yeah, I get it. They're willing to defend these worthless mutts. But I ain't talking about you. I mean, obviously, sometimes I do talk about them, but there's certain cases where I'm not talking about dog owners. I'm talking about the dog. And they will take that personal. But anyway, in terms of, lying and making excuses, this can harm their self-esteem. This can harm their self-image of how they feel about themselves. They lie so much, they may feel bad about, they lie so much about dogs, they may feel so bad about themselves that they will, when they're interacting with people who are anti-dog or anti-pit bull, they are going to lash out like some kind of psychopath. Because they know that there are a lot of people that don't want these pit bulls around. And when they're doing all these picketing and protesting about, ending the pit bull ban, you can tell a lot of them have a damaged self-esteem. You see them in the video struggling with their dogs, trying to put on a happy face, trying to be happy. Hey, I'm with these other pitnutters. But in reality, I think because of the lies and excuses that they say about these dogs, their self-esteem, their images has been destroyed. And this is not a shot at everyone. This is not a shot at body shaming. But a lot of these pit bull nutters, some dog nutters, are fat, they're overweight, and they look like slobs, and they just don't dress well at all. And you look at them, you can probably sense, hey, they must have bad self-esteem about themselves. So then why are they overweight? Why do they dress bad? Why do they look like slobs? And this is there's this pattern with pit bull nutters, especially pit bull nutters and dog nuts, that they have these characteristics. If dogs are supposed to make them feel good and not stressed, why do a lot of them just have this horrible physical image about them? And it may have something to do with the lies, the delusion, the excuses that they have to keep up regarding these dogs. And it's so much that they just have to give in to something else. So they have to hold up the lie. As they're holding up these lies, they gotta get overweight and all that stuff and have low self-esteem. Loss of integrity, authenticity. They say lying can also erode your sense of integrity, authenticity. When you're dishonest, you're presenting a false version of yourself to the world. And that's what a lot of these dog nutters do. Pit nutters. They're dishonest. They have to lie, and they have to keep this false image to these worlds about dogs, about another species. And I think after a while, some of them are they get stressed out about it. It's like they know these dogs are dangerous and vile, but they're going to keep defending them. But with the lies and excuses, and that adds up. You may not see the bin, but it adds up. The more they lie and they keep this delusion about dogs, it's more weight that goes into this bin, this baggage that they have to carry. And they do that every day, lying to themselves, to others, to people on the internet. It adds up. This can lead to feelings of disconnect between who you are and who you're presenting yourself to be, which can create a sense of authenticity, a sense of inauthenticity. This speaks volume about dog culture. You lie so much, full of excuses. You pretty much disconnect from reality, from the truth. There's that old saying: if you lie so much, you're gonna end up believing it. If you lie so much to yourself, or if you keep repeating something to yourself, you're gonna end up believing it or accepting it, and that is what dog culture does. They repeat the same talking points. And where has that gotten them? Well, it has gotten a lot more people dead. That's it. Increased conflict and tension, especially with people who are anti-dog or anti-pit bull. A lot of tension between these, let's say, three groups. We have the anti-dog people, we have the anti-pit bull people who are dog nuts, and we have the pro-pit bull bully breed people. We are conflicting with each other. But the only ones that are really suffering are the dog nutters and the pit bull nuts. Because they have nothing they can say about people who are anti-dog. What can they say? They can't say nothing. So guess what they have to do? They have to reside and rely on personal insults that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. You show them the facts, you show them the stats, they're going to repeat the same old pointless talking points, then they're going to insult you. Reduce mental health and well-being. Dog nutters. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I believe a lot of dog nuts, dog culture in general, is a mental illness. It's a mental disorder. These dogs, loving or being around them, it is a mental illness and disorder. Lives have been killed because of this culture that's supposed to be therapeutic. How can you have something that's supposed to be therapeutic and it's killing people every day? And when it does kill people, you're going to blame the owner? So it's a little confusing here. Because they say dogs are supposed to be therapeutic. Maybe not in those words, but they say dogs are supposed to be therapeutic. But as soon as they attack you, they blame the owner for what the dog did. So pretty much what they mean is the dog has to be trained by a person in order to be therapeutic. Because again, dogs are worthless. They don't choose to be therapy dogs. It's people that are making them and forcing them to be therapy dogs. This is something that dog nuts do not want to say. Instead, they're going to lie and say and act as if the dog chose to be some dog nuts therapy dog. They're going to act as if the dog chose to do it, as if the dog, wrote an application to be the therapy dog. No, it is people forcing them to do so. And if the dog doesn't want to do it, they just throw the dog in a shelter and or kill the dog. That's just my guess, but I'm pretty sure they just toss the dog in a shelter. If the dog's not cooperating or doing what it's supposed to do, whether it's on drugs or not, or trained or not, I think they'd either kill the dog or they toss the dog elsewhere because the dog has no use. But as soon as they find a dog that's willing to do what they say with or without drugs, they're going to praise and act as if the dog chose to be in this position. I just wish they could just be honest and just say, hey, we force dogs to do this. No dog has chosen to be some dogness therapy mutt. You cannot find a mutt out there that is lining up to be someone's therapy mutt. Can't find it. But again, these dog nuts, they're mentally ill. They have mental disorders. And it's no surprising why a lot of them need these service dogs. Not surprised. Not surprised whatsoever. So lying within this dog culture, it does a lot of harm to dog nutters. It does a lot of harm to these pit nutters. These are not honest people, and they don't want to be wrong about dogs. They want to keep this fake facade, delusion about dogs, illusion about dogs. Even though it's wrong. It's false. Along this article, a little short one. Let's see what it says. As children learn honesty in the best policy, but as an adult, not everyone adheres to it. I did not have sexual relations with a woman, declared former President Bill Clinton. I know that is not possible, that this child could be mine, said presidential candidate John Edwards. I shall resign presidency effective tomorrow, said President Nixon in 1974. Study estimates Americans lie 11 times a week on average. I think it's a lot more if you include dog culture within it. Because these dog nuts have to lie every day to keep their dog nuttery afloat. Just by them groping and touching and kissing and saying all these things to the dog, that's a lie. There are a lot of reasons people lie. Personal gain. As in personal gain, as in, having these dogs available in the community. Avoiding some untoward consequence, as in trying to avoid the truth about dogs. Sometimes we lie to boost our self-esteem. They lie to say to say dogs are man's best friend, to make them feel good. They lie about dogs go to heaven. There's a doggy heaven, which is a lie. Dogs will cease. I can't say it's a full lie because I don't know what happens when you die, but to say there is a doggy heaven, that means you actually know there is a doggy heaven. When you don't know anything, you don't know what's gonna happen after we die. So to say there's a doggy heaven is false. Whatever reason, a new study conducted by the University of Notre Dame suggests it's bad for your health. One group was specifically told to try not to lie, and the other control group was not given any such instructions. Researchers say the group of participants who reduced lying for 10 weeks experienced significantly fewer headaches, sore throats, tenseness, anxiety, and other health problems. Look at a lot of these dog nuts and dog owners. They look miserable. We read them on YouTube. We read them on Reddit and how they hate their dogs. Dogs are driving them crazy. You see them on the streets. They look miserable. These pit bull nuts look like slobs. They don't look like they're happy at all. It's because of the lies and the excuses that they have to tell themselves and or others, especially when it revolves around dogs. And other health problems than those who continue to lie regularly. I do believe, and I do accept, that lying is what's making these dog lovers sick, and not just in a biological way or physical way. It's making them sick spiritually, emotionally, verbally. The way they talk to people, the way they express themselves, the way they defend dogs, the way they go about day-to-day life. This lying just regarding dogs affects them as a person. That's why a lot of them are so miserable, reckless, vile, rude, impatient, lack manners, lack etiquette, lack hygiene. It is the dogs, this dog culture, it's the lies that they have to tell themselves and tell others every day. Lies can make you sick. I love the truth. It can be harsh to resolute, but it stands as a barricade against the goblins that dance with lies in your head. If you tell the truth, you have clarity. You stand proud. You are stress-free. You never have to remember what you said because the truth is easy to recall. This is so true, especially when it comes to this dog culture. These dog nuts will lie. And when they lie, they are anxious. When they lie, they are guilty. When they lie, they just look miserable. They're always upset. Always want to fight someone. Always want to argue. Always think their dog is never wrong. always saying they're never wrong, never want to take responsibility for their worthless mutt, never want to realize how vile their dog is, never want to realize how dangerous their dog is. And they continue to lie, and that's and we see it every day of how they are. It's because they are liars. The excuses, the denial, living in this delusion. Yeah, lying is natural to humankind. No matter where in the world they live, so, for example, children all begin to tell lies at about the same age and for similar reasons. I cannot say I have never lied, but I will say that I rarely lie. Only times I'll say I lie. I'm being honest here. I'm going to be honest. Like, unlike you dogmas, you don't want to be honest, but I'm going to be honest. Times I lie is like when I know, I don't know. It's more like being subconscious. Like I know I did something wrong, whether it's purposely or by accident, and whether it's I verbally confess or indirectly confess or whatever. I do it to save my ass. I do it to avoid conflict. I do it to avoid confrontation, but it's very rare. Most times I will tell the truth. I'll say in a year I may lie like once per year. Once per year. And it's usually like very indirect. If that makes sense. It's not like someone's confronting me, asking me if I did this or did that. It's just more like, it's like, let's say you're at work and you want to cut corners, for example, and you kind of did things in a crappy way because you want to cut corners, you want to get out, and your boss says, "Did you do it?" And you kind of say yes, but you really didn't do it per se, but you did it. If that makes sense, I hope I'm making sense. Whether it's a lie, an excuse, or it's flabbergasted, whatever, I would say I rarely lie. Rarely, but if I do, it is to save my ass in a indirect way. And I really hope what I'm saying makes sense. But however, in this dog culture, every day they have to lie. And it's not just to others, it is to themselves regarding these dogs. And we could ask that question, is it worse to lie to yourself or worse to lie to others? I think it's even. I think it's about even. I don't think one is any worse or any better than the other. Because at the end of the day, when you keep doing something over and over again, and you have that baggage, it will pile up. And you may not show direct or physical signs of you lying all the time, but it's there. It's there in the attitude, there in your manners, the way you talk to people, the way you look at people, the way you behave, and a lot of these dog nutters are very disrespectful people. Pit bull nutters are very highly disrespectful people. Because they lie so much. And it's not just about lying verbally. It is the mental lies they say to themselves, the mental lies they may say to someone else. That's what also matters. Can lying really make you vomit the truth about lying and what it does to the body? Oh no, I have to pay for this or something. I ain't gonna sign in. I'm gonna skip this one. But yeah, I stand by it. Lying is what's making these dog nutters and pit nutters sick. Not just on a physical, but on a mental, emotional, verbal, their well-being, the way they present themselves, it makes them sick. Um, Lying actually makes you sick. There's a lot to be said for lying, for living a good, honest life. If you avoid lying, chances are you will have an easier time at work. You won't have to sneak around with your significant other. You'll be well liked by the clergy and according to new research. There's a lot to be said for living a good, honest life. If you avoid lying, chances are you have an easier time at work. And we can use this in the terms of dog culture. The dog people that are, or pit nut people, anti-pit nut people, or telling the truth about dogs versus these dog nuts and pit nuts that are lying. Who's living more comfortably? I would say those that are telling the truth about them. Meanwhile, these pit nutters are stressed out. They're stressed out. They're unease. And you tell them dogs are dangerous, these pit nuts become slobs. I'm not making this up. That's why that's probably why a lot of these dog nuts are just slobs. I want to see this. Because they lie so much. Meanwhile, all the anti-dog people, I can't say all the anti-dog people, but I can speak for myself. I'm doing pretty well. I don't have to live in a house with dogs. I don't have to live in a house smelling dogs. I don't have to be picking up dog shit. Dog dander, dog fur. I don't have to be licking on a dog. Dogs don't have to be licking on me. No, I don't have to be lying about anything. All I gotta do is tell the truth. I gotta keep telling the truth and tell it like it is regarding these dogs. But these dog nuts, they have to keep lying and creating excuses. Dog nuts, they hate the truth so much that they don't like when people say they hate dogs. Dog nutters hate the truth so much that they hate when people say they hate dogs. So if someone is being honest and they say they hate dogs, dog nuts don't want to hear the truth. And when they hear that you don't like dogs, when they hear you dislike dogs, we all know what's going to happen. They are going to overreact, call you names, be like, why, be hysterical, say, I don't trust people who don't like dogs. They get stressed out. Just saying you don't like dogs gives them an anxiety attack. And I can even say there are some people who probably own dogs or are around dogs that also hate dogs, where they have to lie to themselves. They have to lie to themselves, lie to others. And it hurts them. It makes them stressed out, gives them anxiety, panic attacks, where they can't dump the dog, they can't avoid dogs. They gotta stay around dogs and not say anything because they know, or they feel they know, if they do speak up against dogs, their friends, their peers, their family, etc., are going to attack them. So dog nutters, rather you keep quiet and pretend you like dogs than be honest that you hate dogs. And look what we're talking about today. Talking about how sick these dog nuts are. They rather you pretend to like dogs and be stressed out. Because a lot of these dog nuts are stressed out. They are miserable. Than to be honest and say you hate and or dislike dogs. They don't want to hear that. They get angry. They get vexed. They feel like you smash the commandments or something. Dog nuts are sick. They're sick in a both a literal and in a a psychopathic, sarcastic way, if that makes sense. It's like you see someone doing something, or a friend doing something, you call them they're sick, type of thing. They're sick. They're sick. If they're not sick, why do they get mad when people don't like dogs? Like, why do they get mad when people don't like dogs? And some of them will feel something when you cross the street to avoid them and their dogs. They will feel something. They'll look around like, why are you avoiding me or my dog? I've done it before. A dog is coming my way. I cross the street. The dog passes me, I cross back. I do that. I literally do that. I walk on the road or whatever I have to do to get away from this worthless mutt. I really don't care how these dog nuts feel. They're the ones, again, contributing to the deaths. They're the ones picking up dog shit. They're the ones with smelly, stank-ass houses. But they only have a problem when you hate dogs. They only see the problem when you hate dogs. That's why these dog nuts are so sick in the head. Lying is stressful. First, you have to think up the lie, and have it, and you have to tell it. In a way, I don't know. I can't say I actually lie. It's more like, I guess I kind of, I alter things a little bit. Like I'll say things like in a way I did it, but I'll say it in a complete different way, and that's very rare. If I know I'm in a tight spot and I need something, and there are just situations that you just need something. Again, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. It's just like I just need something, and you're kind of gonna have to alter something a little bit. Not completely lying, but you're gonna alter something. But in dog culture, again, lying is very stressful to them. When you have the whole world that's dog nutters, where are you gonna go for help? Obviously, you got me here. Hello. But you're living with dogs. You're stressed out because of dogs, but you don't want to admit that you hate dogs. You can't dump your dog. You got to keep something that you hate. And anywhere you go, they're going to probably, rip you apart. Go to a psychologist and say, hey, I hate dogs. I don't want dogs. They're probably going to be dog nutters too. You tell your friends, they're going to say, hey, keep the dog. Go online, hey, keep the dog. Because you give up that dog, a lot of these dog nuts are going to shun. They're going to attack you for dumping their worthless mutt. So these dog nuts, they rather you live with stress, with something you hate, than to give it up. And that's the same thing as lying. You're basically lying to yourself, creating excuses to live with something that you hate. And it's unhealthy. Very, very unhealthy. Not only does it lead to headaches, anxiety, and tenseness, the science of honesty participants complained about it can have real physical effects. It can actually shrink your brain, and I can say dog nutters, pit nutters especially, are dumb. Obviously, they're probably smart in other things. When it comes to dogs and pit bulls, they're dumb. They're probably very smarter than me in other things. But again, when it comes to dogs in general, they're very dumb. They're stupid. And it could be because of all these lies that they have to tell themselves and tell others. But in conclusion, don't lie. You'll end up with a tiny brain like dog nutters, like pit nutters, that hurts all the time. How are we doing for time here? We're an hour in. We are in an hour in. But I think you get the point. I have two more things, but I believe we get the point of what I'm trying to say. Let's see. The devastating consequences of excuses and 8 ways to stop them. Consequences: fear, indecision, failure to take responsibility. In the same way, it could be like failure to also point the finger at something. Because sometimes you just have to point the finger and be honest and say, it is this thing, it is this person's fault, instead of covering it up. And that goes with dogs. It is the dog's fault for attacking. The dogs are dangerous. Dogs have teeth. Dogs are the ones that are attacking. Dogs are the ones that are killing. But they don't do that. Instead of looking at the dog for what it is, they find the closest human to blame them for the dog's actions. And we don't see that with any other animal, not with cats. You don't see that with any animal, only with dogs, specifically with pit bulls. Because a lot of these pitnutters are going to bring up chihuahuas as more aggressive. But you never hear them say it's how you train them with chihuahuas. This how you train it is really specifically for these pit bulls and or bully breeds. So failure to take responsibility could also mean failure to know when or who or what to point the finger at. When it comes to dog culture, pit bull culture, we have to start pointing the finger at the dog. When the dog isn't attacking, we will praise that dog, point the finger at the dog for doing so-called good things and not attacking. But as soon as that dog attacks, we don't point the finger at the dog. We point the finger at the closest human, whether it's the victim or the owner, or even the weather or some other nonsensical thing, to trying to justify the dog's behavior and actions. Many cases, they will bring up weather is because dogs attack, noise because dog attack, the floor because dogs attack, because you drop something because dogs attack, and the list goes on. And these are the things that dog nuts should be doing. Taking responsibility and again being able to point the finger at the dog. If they keep diverting their attention from the dog and blaming someone else, that's why we're living the way we are today. With so many dog attacks, because no one wants to point the finger. Not no one, but in generally speaking, no one wants to blame the dog for its actions. No one wants to say, hey, this is what dogs do. Always the owner. If we always have to blame the owner, then there's something wrong with the dog. If the dogs are so great, if the dog is so great that we always have to blame the owner for if it does bad things, then something is wrong with this dog. Developing self-control, as in not to have to lie all the time. Not to lie. I mean, just pertaining to this dog culture, stop lying. Be honest with yourself about dogs and this dog culture. Squash procrastination. Tracking behavior. Again, knowing what you're doing. And I believe a lot of these dog nuts, whether it's on social media, internet, or in real life, a lot of them don't know what they're saying or doing when it comes to these dogs. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what the hell they are saying. They don't know. Because if they did know, they would realize that all of the things that they are saying makes no sense and it's really stupid. Alternating perspective. I wish they can see the perspective of people who hate dogs, people who are scared of dogs, people who don't like dogs. And another good example of this is when other dog lovers or people or pairs they know say they don't like dogs. They're going to crucify them, throw stones at them. But you're not understanding what they feel, what they've been through. But these same dog people will continue to force their dogs on people. You know why? Because they cannot see from an entirely different perspective. They're going to ask, what about you? Why do you not see from the dog lover's perspective? There's nothing there. It's just a worthless, disgusting mutt. Dangerous, annoying mutt. They're meaningless. They're pointless. They don't live for anything whatsoever. Got to spend so much money on this worthless thing and you get nothing out of it. You got to lie to yourself. Create these illusions and delusions about these things. I don't want no part of that. And dog culture is detrimental and is very toxic to society. You cannot come up with something that is negative regarding people who are dog free. There's nothing you can say. Hey, someone is dog free. There's no negative points to that. And that's why a lot of these dogmas have to result to personal insults. Exercising personal adequacy, overcoming the middle problem, acting unconditionally, concluding thoughts. I believe, I accept, I theorize that the lies within dog culture is what's making these dog nuts sick. It's making them behave the way they behave. Why are so many dog nuts slobs? Why are so many of them so overweight? Why are so many of them rude? It's usually dog lovers. It's usually always those that love, like, or own dogs that are all they fall the same category. Always. Again, we live in this society, a dog nut society, where it's pro-dog. They're not going to say anything negative regarding dogs. And to me, that's another form of lying, another form of creating excuses. And that's what's, setting a lot of these dog nuts up for failure. That's why so many dog nuts look and sound stupid. Because anything and everything they say is pretty much what they hear in the media. It's not like these dog nuts actually went and did the facts and the research. If they did that, then they would know that dogs are worthless. Dogs are dangerous, and they can't have that. It wouldn't make sense to be a dog lover and be honest about dogs. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to know all the facts about dogs but still be a dog lover. No, you have to lie. You can't know things about dogs. You can't. If you knew things about dogs, you'd be hating dogs too. I hope whatever I said made sense in this video. Not forcing people to accept or believe what I say. This is just, again, my perspective of things. I'm allowed to have a perspective of things. I'm allowed to hate dogs. I know society, looks down on that, but I'm still going to hate dogs. I'm going to still have a perspective that is completely 100% anti-dog. This is my perspective. We've lived for far too long, where we couldn't say anything bad about dogs. Far too long where we never heard anything negative about dogs. Obviously, it didn't start with me, but I'm contributing. And I like that I'm able to use this platform, YouTube, wherever, to spread dog hatred, if you want to call it that. Well, yeah, I guess it is dog hatred. Because I want everyone else to know that it's okay to hate dogs. I want everyone to know and realize, hey, dogs are worthless, because they really are. No one has ever been able to debunk that dogs are worthless. They can't debunk it. There is no way of debunking worthless mutts. You can't. Because they are naturally worthless. They need a dim-witted dog nutter to think for them, to make them behave properly. Dogs need a dog nut owner to make them behave properly. Dogs are worthless. We don't need such behavior with such, techniques with cats, for the most part. No other animal. It's only with dogs. Because without the dog nut human, dogs would be living in filth. Dogs would be living in filth. Not even the rats in New York live in filth. Not even the cockroaches live in filth. Not even the seagulls live in filth. Not even the worms and the maggots live in filth. It's only dogs that will live in filth, because dogs are worthless. Dog nuts. Lying is what's making you sick, mentally, emotionally, physically, biologically, spiritually, all over. You're just sick. You're psychotic. You're sick. You're mentally disabled. You're mentally ill. Dog culture is a mental disorder. And it's mainly because of the lies that are told to you and the lies that you tell regarding your dog, any dog, and regarding these pit bulls and or bully breeds. It is the lies that are making you sick. And the truth is, you have no facts. And that's why you always have to rely on personal insults and repeating the same mumble jumble that you've heard on other platforms or in other comments. But anyways, this is another Worthless Mutts, and please help normalize dog hatred. Thank you for watching.